Okay, you guys, I've been really looking forward to watching this video. The idea of watching this video came from you guys, and I appreciate it. I made that vid a few days ago talking about how I've gotten to where I really detest Hulk Hogan. And it was largely because of the contents of that video, which was him just randomly running down, ripping on, shooting on Mick Foley with a bunch of the things he said were just absolute garbage, nonsensical crap. And yeah, me personally, I just don't have any respect for the guy. And several of you guys said, watch WrestleMania's video, 10 Biggest Lies Hulk Hogan Has Ever Told. I can't even imagine what's going to be in here just based on the things that you guys have told me in comments since that video. But I'm anxious to find out.
But the things that I am not
Wow.
is I'm not a steroid abuser, and I do not use steroids.
There may not be a bigger name in
Really? I've never. Oh, if that was during the era where the WWE was being investigated for steroid abuse and had all the issues, I guess you'd have to. Okay, even if you were, let's say this in the correct sense, even if you were using steroids, allegedly, you would have to say you weren't. But as far as wrestlers using juice, it was never something I did, but I didn't need to, not for my gimmick, and I had enough natural strength, well, not natural, I worked my ass off in the gym to do the things I wanted to do with my gimmick, but if I'd use steroids, I'd tell you guys,
Hogan
no
truly
problem with
made
that.
pro wrestling what it is today, but although his
Tons
contributions
of the guys
to
I
wrestling
work
can't be diminished,
with use them,
Hogan has
and
been
I
involved
don't-
in a
to each his
number
own.
of high-profile scandals throughout his career. Hogan certainly
Yeah.
has his fair share of fans, but at the same time, his years of hurtful remarks and downright lies have made some fans resent the WWE Hall of Famer. Man, he's told some whoppers over the years.
I just think
Andre the Giant.
it just seems to me, and again, strictly my opinion, I know this is going to upset some people, and if it does, too bad. What he did for the business is undeniable. But as a person, Terry Bollea, he seems like a douchebag.
With these boots on, and then a couple days later he passed on.
Which ones were they? Well, join us now as WrestleMania looks at 10 of the biggest lies that Hulk Hogan has ever told.
Sounds like it's going to be tough to get to the top of that list. Seems like he's got an impressive list much longer than just 10.
Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow
And
us on
why, when you
Facebook
got a
for
legend
exclusive
like that, a
leads.
legacy like that, you don't need to lie.
WrestleMania 30, right here in the Silverdome. I can't believe.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Number 10, he was supposed to be in The Wrestler. The 2008 movie The Wrestler was a
That
commercial
was-
and critical success.
that was a good
Starring
movie.
Mickey Rourke,
I
the
was
movie told a story of a
really
struggling
impressed
pro wrestler and
with
his
that movie.
complicated relationship with his estranged daughter. When the movie was released, Hulk Hogan began to claim that the director of the movie, Darren Aronofsky, offered Hogan the lead role 3 different times. When Hogan initially said
No.
this, fans had their doubts.
What's that smell?
yeah, there you go. Dookie.
Hogan was a terrible actor, and
That's just what I was just going to say. I mean, Mickey Rourke's kind of a wacko himself, but he did a brilliant job in that film. Nowhere, anywhere should the words brilliant job be associated with any acting Hulk Hogan's
offered a
done.
movie of this magnitude. Embarrassingly for Hulk Hogan, it was later revealed by the director himself
Yeah.
that Hogan was never contacted to be in the movie at all. Number 9, he noticed
Why? But why would you lie? Why would you lie about something that's going to so obviously be disproved? Wow.
Kevin Owens' star power.
Because the champ is here.
I love KO.
Shortly after Kevin Owens' acclaimed feud with John Cena in 2015, Hulk Hogan did an interview with Radio Yorkshire, and in this
now
interview, he claimed that he was the first one to ever notice
He
Owens'
discovered
star power
KO.
and potential. At this point, Owens had cemented himself as a top superstar in the WWE, and Owens, before his run in WWE,
No
had
way.
known the Independents as a top name for over a decade.
Yeah.
Hogan, during the interview,
I don't follow as closely as many of you guys do, and I knew of Kevin Owens before he got to WWE.
said, "Well, I hate to brag about it, but I'm the first one to point the finger."
Okay, wait a second. It was a lie, right? I hate to brag about it. Okay, you already lied.
Kevin Owens. I saw him on NXT, like his second match, and saw him just chop and beat and grind and beating his guy down and doing it the old school way and really understanding how to get heat. Doing it the old school way, and I said, that's the guy. I said, that's the guy. I don't care if he looks like a wrestler or looks like an ice cream salesman. I don't care. That's the guy. In this interview, Hogan would attempt to take credit for Owens' success. He tried to make a point that it was him who directed WWE to position Owens in a top spot in the company.
Oh my
Hogan's
gosh.
claims are truly laughable, and it's baffling that Hogan believed that anyone would actually buy
Yeah, and since why would we believe that Hogan had any sway whatsoever in booking in WWE?
into what he was saying. Number 8.
How does he, when he makes shit up, I wonder, I mean, he could actually have, he could have an issue. Maybe he's one of these people that just can't stop lying.
Claimed the Undertaker
Or doesn't realize he is.
Now,
Lives in his own world.
Between Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker at 1991 Survivor Series saw The Undertaker capture the WWE title for the first time.
Right? Oh. This I've touched on before. If you lie about somebody else hurting you, if that's indeed what he did, that's as low as it gets. Threatening somebody else's career and livelihood, I mean, that's, as wrestlers, everybody, I take huge pride in the fact that nobody I worked ever got injured. We get hurt all the time. The difference is you get hurt, it's the bumps, the bruises that you expect to get along the way. Injured means you can't get up and go to your day job the next day.
Taker would win the match by tombstoning Hogan right onto a chair. But according to Hogan, The Undertaker caused severe damage to his neck when the dead man performed a tombstone
That's a
on him. The
perfect
Undertaker actually
tombstone.
believed that he had hurt Hogan with the move, which naturally impacted his confidence moving forward.
He was
When The
way,
Undertaker
way
was
up
rewatching
above the
match
chair.
back, he realized
Yeah,
that
it's
Hogan's
not even
head had
close.
never hit the chair. This meant that Hogan had completely lied about the injury. The Undertaker would confront Hogan about this, and he would offer some lazy explanation into relation to the so-called injury.
He's like, well, brother, what it was you had me so tight that when we came down, I had nowhere to move. That's what jammed my neck because I couldn't move at all.
It was clear that Hogan was lying.
That's pathetic. That's just the absolute pinnacle of douchebaggery to do that to somebody.
In order to damage The Undertaker's position in the company, which would unfortunately be a common
Yeah,
theme
I
in
don't like
Hogan's
this guy.
career.
Sorry,
Number
guys.
7, the
I just don't
Make-A-Wish
like him.
lie. According to Hogan, back in
Come on.
1992,
Now this is-
he granted a make-a-wish for a sick child
This is
in the
getting to be
UK.
too much.
Now this sounds like an awesome thing for Hogan to do, but when the story was examined, it turned out to be a huge lie.
Oh my
Hogan
God.
claimed that he secured a sick child tickets to SummerSlam, which was taking place in London, England. Hogan revealed that the kid was a huge Hogan fan and he wanted to see him perform on the show in the main event. The thing is that Hogan was never at SummerSlam in '92, and even worse, he wasn't even in the UK at the time, meaning he could never have met the poor child. Hogan using this fabricated story to make himself
Why?
look good goes to show just how low he will sink to make himself look like the hero of his own story.
Holy shit. You're pretending you're doing things for oh man. And then on the other side of it, you had Cena, who, how many hundreds had he granted before word even started to get out that he was doing them? And whether you like Cena or don't like Cena, I nothing but huge respect for all he's done for kids who make a wish. And some people, it cracks me up when some people say too, well, yeah, he's he's doing it for the publicity. Over 600 of them, and like John Cena needs publicity. Come on, it's just because he's a
Tyson
decent
was scared of
guy.
him. One of Hogan's most nonsensical lies relates to himself and Mike Tyson. Hogan claims that whilst he was in WCW, a pay-per-view match
Hey,
was going to take
can't
place
be.
between Hogan and Tyson. This would have been a huge success for WCW, as Tyson was one of the biggest stars in the world back in the
Oh,
90s,
hell yeah.
and the WWE obtained great success when he was involved in their WrestleMania build in 1998.
They could charge $20 million for each TV set because everybody would want to see who's the real champion of the world, Hulk Hogan or Mike Tyson.
Hilariously, Hogan claims that
No.
the reason that this planned match didn't take
Come
place
on.
was because Tyson was scared of him. Yes, that's right, one of the toughest, most successful boxers of all time was scared of Hulk Hogan. Number 5.
That he can't be. I mean, okay, if you're going to work a match, you're going to work. What reason would Tyson have to be scared of him? I mean, first of all, you're talking about a work. presumably, that you're going to put together a big pay-per-view headliner match. But if things went off the rails, if it goes into a shoot, you think Mike Tyson scared of Hulk Hogan? Mike Tyson beat the shit out of Hulk Hogan. Guys, at probably 3/4 of the locker rooms Hogan was in, there were guys that or 3/4 of the locker rooms could have whooped Hulk Hogan's ass. He wasn't ever known as a real life tough guy. You can tell by the way he moves in the ring, the way he throws punches and things of that nature. He doesn't know anything about fighting.
Elvis Presley was
This
a
is
huge fan of his
amazing.
work. A Hogan's autobiography
What?
makes for an exciting read, especially if you want to delve into the somewhat fictional reality that Hogan lives in. In his book, Hogan recounts a time that Elvis Presley used to come and watch him wrestle back in Memphis in 1977. Interestingly, Hogan began to wrestle in 77, and it would be a number of years before Hogan would become even a household name.
Well, yeah,
This claim from Hogan becomes laughable when you learn that Elvis passed away the same year that Hogan started wrestling. This meant that it was almost impossible for Elvis to become a fan of Hogan's work, and it's probable that Elvis had zero idea who Hogan even was.
I was trying to remember exactly when Elvis died. This is actually stunning.
He claimed he was asked to fight for the UFC.
Oh, Jesus Christ. yeah. Ken Shamrock, Dan Severn, those guys. Hogan in there with those guys. Oh, I would have paid to see that. I would have absolutely paid to see that.
When the UFC first started, it was unclear if the promotion was going to be a success. Due to this uncertainty,
Now, he might have
Hogan
gotten
claimed
asked
that
to do
UFC
it, though.
reached out to him, and they asked him to fight for the promotion. Hogan claims that he didn't join the now popular promotion because people get beat up when the fight should be stopped. Even though it was clear from Hogan's reasoning that he had virtually zero knowledge about the world of MMA, Hogan's UFC claims were ultimately ruled out when one of the co-founders of UFC, Campbell McLaren, took to Twitter to state that there was no truth whatsoever in Hogan's claims.
And the thing,
this once again is another example of Hogan creating a fictional reality in his head, and it's rather frightening to think that Hogan may actually believe some of the things
I think
he's claiming.
that's what
I
don't know. What do you guys think? I think he probably does believe a lot of this stuff. Wow, he might have some serious issues. And that one would even make sense, because that's what I was going to point out was, the UFC was in its early days. You get a big crossover like that. Now, I don't think obviously, any of the UFC fighters would have beat the living shit out of him. But the name recognition would have been worth it. But then they find out they didn't even inquire.
He broke his ribs at WrestleMania 18 against The Rock. A Hogan and The Rock colliding at WrestleMania 18 made for one of the most acclaimed WWE matches of all time.
Another injury
claims?
claims?
To last the test of time, and it's certainly a highlight of both superstars' respective careers.
Right.
When the match was over, it was clear that Hogan had seriously injured his ribs and he looked in serious pain. Hogan later revealed that he had broken his ribs when The Rock performed a rock bottom on him, and fans took Hogan's word on this.
Perfect rock bottom.
So did The Rock.
Perfect.
However, in reality, Hogan had already gone into WrestleMania 18 with broken ribs. He had broken them during a house show match against Rikishi, and for whatever reason, he wanted the people to believe that the match with The Rock caused him to break his ribs. This lie offers parallels to the time Hogan lied about The Undertaker injuring him, so it's clear that Hogan gets extremely insecure when performing against top names in the wrestling business.
Yeah, I was going to say,
To make
it's
things
just...
worse, in later years, Hogan had publicly declared that he did in fact go into WrestleMania 18 with pre-existing broken ribs.
The thing of it is, that's what it's got to be. It's just got to be a mind-numbingly horrific case of insecurity. And the thing of it is, if he wanted to put himself over, he had an opportunity without lying. He could have put himself over as a tough guy, saying, yeah, I had broken, which would have been true. I had broken ribs, but, when you need to do the big show, you do the big show. I was going to get there one way or the other, and it hurt like hell. But I went through with the match, and that would have all been legit. And people could have gotten behind that and said, damn, because I certainly never saw Hogan as a tough guy. So you give you a little bit of a tough guy rep, and instead you just decide to make something up, an entire lie about it.
He claimed he came up with the idea of the NWO with different members. The NWO were one of the most influential stables to ever grace a wrestling ring, and according to Hogan, it was him who came up with the idea for the legendary group.
I'm sure.
This claim has
he
been
believes
rebutted
it
a number of times throughout the years, including by Hogan's real-life friend and former WCW president Eric Bischoff. It was actually Bischoff himself who came up with the concept, mainly thanks to inspiration from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Bischoff has always been open in discussing the fact that he used an idea he'd already seen for the stable. Hogan claims that he wanted the NWO to feature himself, the Booty Man, and the Nasty Boys. Safe to say that if WCW went down this route, they would have lost the Monday Night Wars a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Number one,
that
WrestleMania 3 claimed.
would have been
WrestleMania 3 featured one of the most iconic moments in the
that would have been awful. Jeez.
history of wrestling. Hogan would body
Excuse
slam
me.
Andre the Giant in a truly memorable spot that virtually every wrestling fan knows about.
Right.
Although the spot was truly magical, this hadn't stopped Hogan from lying about the specifics of the spot. The first lie Hogan
Now
has
what?
repeatedly told over the years is that he was the first person ever to slam Andre.
He
This
didn't
is
even-
untrue. Andre had been slammed
Yeah, Harley
a number of
Race,
times prior
I
to
think, was the
WrestleMania
very
3,
first, wasn't he?
including once by wrestling legend Harley Race.
Yeah. Watch Races. That's a good slip. Look at him. Holds him up and everything.
The Hulkster also
That old
claimed that
country
Andre
boy
weighed
was
around
strong,
600
Harley
pounds
Race.
when he performed the slam. Andre was actually billed at 450 pounds for the match, and he was nowhere near 600 pounds.
No.
698 pounds. I ripped my whole back out. I got a hole in my back.
700 pounds. He just, it's like lies don't even register with him.
I tore both
It's
of
just
my
tell
biceps.
whatever you want
He
to
also
believe.
publicly stated that he tore
Whatever
every
he
single muscle
believes
in his back.
is fact.
Although he was in complete agony, he continued wrestling and didn't miss a single scheduled show. But there you have it, folks. 10 of the biggest lies Hulk Hogan.
That's actually stunning. Holy crap. I think the guy, he almost has to have issues, doesn't he? I mean, and now the terminology is escaping me. What? Oh God, I do this all the time, guys, with the post concussion. But I can't think of the term for it when you can't stop lying. Regardless, it's Hogan. Because it almost seems like he lies when it doesn't even really benefit him. Like the whole thing with The Rock, where you could have told the truth and people would have said, "Oh, cool, thanks for being there and doing a show for us in pain," and instead he just goes with a lie. I don't think he can stop. That's actually disturbing. Yeah, I don't like the guy.